I'll let you know. Right, we are live now, and then we'll start the music up, and then we'll go from there. Now, I've got to get a name like this because normally it's quite easy for me to actually say what the name of the show is. But welcome to the Straight Talking Reposs Non-League Preview Show. Of course, new name of the show this week, and of course, new name to the show, the D&K show on Monday night. But it's an absolute privilege to have the man, as you might be able to see to my right, and so it's fantastic to see him on a Friday night, giving up his time again on a Friday night. So welcome, Keith.
Hello, Dave. You all right, mate?
You're right. It's been as you know, it's been a funny couple of days, but I dare say we might talk a bit more about that on Monday night. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to playing in the first D&K game tomorrow, mate.
It'll be a good game. Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. But as we said, the league that was the Ryman League, so we'll go into some of those as we go along. But of course, to our left as well, the team that I think that are going to be ever rising through the ranks, and I think we'll be seeing them soon in the league that was the Ryman League very, very shortly. And of course, we've got the chairman of Epping Football Club with us as well. So welcome, Chris.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Nice
and viewers.
Nice to have you, sir.
Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it.
No problems whatsoever. And of course, people will be asking me, well, where's Dean? Where's Paul? Well, Paul's on father duties tonight, so that's where he is tonight, so he couldn't do it. And Dean has unfortunately got the old dreaded man flu, so he's home stuck in bed and may even miss his game again tomorrow, the Welling game tomorrow. But already a message coming already from Jake Murphy saying, "Evening, Chris." So
no.
Jake's watching.
Always rely on the foghorn to be looking.
But I suppose one of the things then, this week, games this week, is there any games, other than the games that we're going to try and cover tonight, is there any games that sort of stick out for you guys that you think may well be a game to look out for at the weekend?
Definitely.
Yeah. I think it's
exciting. Have you not looked at that?
Which one, sorry?
Have you not looked at VCD Horsham?
I know, it wasn't, well, there you go, it was people picking, and it was, and they picked the two they picked from your league, so. That's probably why they're not on tonight.
Yeah, most probably.
But in all fairness, if we do that, we'll go through there. But I suppose, who have Epping got at the weekend, Chris?
We're at home tonight to Shenfield AFC Reserves. 2:00 kick-off over at Stoddards. Massive game for the boys. Mind you, the weather in Epping at the minute, it's hammering down, and I'm starting to get a bit twitchy if the game's going to go ahead. But I've looked at the forecast, the rain's due to finish about 4 in the morning, so if we can get a bit of wind and a few prayers, we should be okay.
So how long before you put down Keith's favourite surface? Well,
yeah, honestly, you're touching nerves already, Dave. You know, it's the way forward, isn't it? Harlow approved that. It is the way forward. The trouble we have, of course, it's a council-owned facility, so we've got to get results first to show them that we mean business, and hopefully they'll agree with us on that view.
So
Dave, if you went to see the pitch I see on Tuesday night, you wouldn't have it down.
No.
Really?
It was shocking.
Really?
Arsenal played in a car park in Asda's.
He may let on who that is later on. But Chris, how many divisions are you away then from what used to be the Ryman League?
we're in Olympian Division 4 at the moment. We're going quite nicely. We're certainly looking at promotion. There are, in the past, clubs have been promoted to divisions if they're successful enough. And we're getting cricket scores some games, to be fair. So we could be 3 or 4 years away from Essex Senior,
Right.
Essex Senior status. And then it's just a matter of pushing on from there, really. So we're a long way away, but obviously we're trying to build the club up and make it, let people know we're about. And it's working. It's been a hard season, often on the pitch, but we're getting there. People are starting to talk about Epping now, so that's good.
Absolutely. Well, should we go into our first game tonight then? So let's go into let's take a visit into the Jigsaw League to start with. Hertford Town, their new manager, and he joins us on Monday night as well for the D&K show on Monday night. But it's Hertford Town against Ashford Town. So I mean, where are we thinking with this one going? I mean, Ashford in good form. Ashford, Middlesex are in good form. And Hertford as well. So I mean, both Hertford with new managers, it can be difficult. You've got to try and get a brand new team together and get them all going in the right direction.
Yeah, I see, Dave. They've signed 15 players this week, haven't they?
Yeah.
So that ain't easy at any stage. So it's going to be tough for them. They're at home. But I spoke to Craig in the week as well. He spoke to me about one of our players, to be fair, and obviously Jason Hallett, who fractured his skull last week. So we wish him all the best there. He said that Jason thinks he could be back within 6 to 8 weeks, which I think's a bit of a sort of optimistic. But I was saying that they're not playing, is it? It's Hertford. I'm going mad. I'm looking at they've got Ashford, didn't they? Sorry. It's going to be tough. I think I watched Ashford. I told you before. They've both got similar records at the moment, haven't they? I think they played each other first game of the season, drew 1-1. Hertford did wish to go for Ashford though, and I've got a funny feeling. I think, as Chris said, with this weather, this could end up maybe a PP next to it, but. If it does go ahead, I find Ashford slight favourites.
Would that fall into Adam's lap a bit? I suppose if the game does get called off, due to the fact that Michael just come in and said they've signed 19 players in the week. I mean, would that sort of help him? Do you think? Because then that way round, it would give him an extra couple of training sessions maybe before they play a game.
Possibly, but obviously, when you go into a club, you want to play straight away. So he'll have his players. But on the other side of it. The heavy pitch might sort of even itself out a bit, Dave. So I think he'll want to play. Ashford definitely will. They're only 6 points outside the playoffs themselves. With on not a bad run. I think their form's not bad. They've got 7 points out the last 18. Hertford have only got 4. So they both lost. And Mighty Molesley beat them last week, Dave.
I know, I saw. Yeah.
3-2. So, and obviously, with Hertford drawing as well, I've got this Ashford slight winning this if it's played.
If it's played, what do you reckon, Chris?
You're right. I think it's about the weather. 19 players coming in, or 11 players coming in, that's hard enough if you get a squad with 3 or 4 new additions. But to expect them to gel and, connect straight away is a big ask. I would think the manager would be quite happy if he could have a week or so to get them prepared, his style of play, etc. So, but I mean, it's a lottery, isn't it, really? I mean, you've effectively got another new team. So who knows? We experienced that last week with a team that we smashed 3 weeks ago, put out 9 new players in their starting 11. So, exactly. It's Keystone Cops, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Think about it, Dave, as well. Them 19 players, not many of them would be regulars. You don't sign, normally players that are on the bench or sort of on loan. So you've got to look at the fitness of them as well. So that's why I'm going towards Ashford here.
Yeah, I think some of them are the guys that, of course, left Welling Garden when Adam did as well. So I think he may have picked up a few of the ones that were sort of old players that were not Dean's. I mean, I've been laughing and joking with Dean all week, saying to him, "Have you got any players left again?" Do you know what I mean? Laughing and joking, saying he might all return up at Hertford Town. But I think the majority of them are players that actually left before Dean hasn't got back into Welling Garden City. So I think it'll be an interesting game. But as you said, Ashford are going quite well at the moment. Hertford Town was struggling pre the manager to go in, so it's definitely going to be an interesting game. But what score do we reckon, then, guys, on this one?
I'm going 1-1.
I'm going 2-0 Ashford, Dave.
2-0 Ashford. I want to go 2-1 Ashford. And of course, Keith tonight's doing his scores for Paul, who's leading at the minute, and Chris will be doing them for Dean tonight. But
I'll wait for the beer, Paul.
Hayes and Yedding against Cheshunt. Wow, it's a bit of a after getting beaten last week, it's a bit of a not the place you necessarily want to go. Hayes and Yedding, is it?
This is what I was saying earlier, Dave. Sorry about obviously with Cheshunt missing Hallett, it's going to be a big loss for them. Hayes and Yedding scored 97 goals this year already, but they're walking away with it. They're 12 points clear. They're top of the form league. They've got 12 points. They're 12 points clear. Sorry, they've had 16 points from the last 18 games. That's some form. Where I know they're coming off the back of they beat Northwood 2-1, and then was it 8-1 they won on Saturday, didn't they? So they scored 15 goals in the last 3 games. So it'd be interesting how Craig sets up here. That they're a point in the playoffs. Cheshunt, a point away from home will be great for them.
Yeah.
They drew 3-3 in the first game, so you can see it being goals. But knowing Craig, you know what he's like. He might be able to pull out a great result for them.
Yeah,
but they need it. They played a game more in the playoffs.
Yeah. And it's especially losing somebody like Jason Hallett as well, where all the goals are coming from. It's a struggle as well, isn't it? Yeah,
to lose him as well from a fractured skulls, is tough, and we hope he recovers well, and we're saying like that not too quick. But Craig had just said it was just a innocuous clash of heads as well.
Yeah. Chris, I mean, where do you see this one? I mean, Jake's gone 3-2.
It's not a nice place to have to go, is it, for Cheshunt? So I'm going to go 3-1 for Hayes and Yedding on that one.
3-1. I think it's
going to be bold. See some goals there.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones, really, and it's almost like a mismatched league, really, isn't it? I mean, literally they're so far in front. It's, as we said last week, it's almost given the trophy now.
Yeah. No, it's true. They're a big, strong side, Dave, and they should be. But after we say about Hallett, he didn't play in the week, and Cheshunt got done, didn't they? 3-2 to their tenants, FC Romania. So I've got down Hayes to win 2-0 here.
Hayes to win 2-0. It's funny. I've literally, as we're talking, I've just had a text back from Dean at the same time. So I was just about to say, so we're doing your game. Listen, you should be watching that. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Cheshunt. I'm probably going to go with the way they're scoring goals at the minute, and remembering that Craig's a friend of ours. I suppose we're going to have to go 3-0, unfortunately, to Hayes and Yedding. I think if Craig wasn't a friend of ours and he wasn't so menacing, I think it might go a bit more.
Well, makes it worse, though. I think, well, not makes it worse, but they've loaned out or let one of their strikers go as well, Cheshunt, in the week.
Yeah.
Ola. So it'd be interesting what he's pulled in, if he has, before that game. Man, Craig, you know what he's like. Yeah. I can see him doing something, but it is going to, they're going to need to get a great result there. And I think that game definitely will be on, won't it, as well?
Yeah. Do you think it's one step too far, though, for Cheshunt in that game for him? Or could...
No, because, you know what he's like. If anyone can beat him, if you look, I think, didn't Hayes have they've won the last couple, but then they've had a couple of draws, haven't they? So... the only thing is, Dave, but I'm looking, they haven't lost a game at home.
Yeah.
Or drawn a game at home. They played 11, won 11.
Could it be another Billericay thing when he was at Kingstonian? Everybody expecting, Billericay to win the game, and up pops Kingstonian on the first day of the season and turns them over. So, as you say, he's definitely full of shocks, isn't he?
Yeah, they are. But like I said, Hayes have lost 2 games all year. None at home, not dropped a point at home. You got to make them favourites.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not fancy going to play them then, Keith? Or Chris, would you not fancy taking your team to go and play Hayes and Yedding up there?
Oh, I'd love to go. I wouldn't be frightened of them. Don't get me wrong. Our boys would take anyone on. But I'm just looking. I'm just looking at their home. It's a, their home record speaks for itself. It's a bit of a fortress. I mean, we'd have a go at them, definitely. We're not frightened of anyone, but no. I'm just thinking, as Keith says, 11 home wins, no draws or losses at home. That's a pretty fantastic home record, isn't it? I mean, it's not the place that you'd want to visit if you needed the points for playoffs, which is what Chesham do need in fourth place at the moment.
Yeah, no, Dave, we'd have a go at them, that. We've got a good strike force. But, they're cheats anyway. There's two teams in one, isn't there? So,
Although saying that, I must admit, I remember one of my first ever games at this sort of level going to watch was over at Waltham Abbey, and they were playing Yedding. And I remember that was always the first game. I always remember Yedding sort of kicking lumps out of them every time they came down there. Do you know what I mean? So it was interesting to see that the two teams merging. But going into the one that I'll be at tomorrow, Averley against Bolton, another massive game in the what used to be the Ryman North.
Yeah, listen, it's a massive game, this, Dave. Second versus third. Malden have got a game in hand as well. So and got a slightly better goal difference. I think back the first fixture it was only Averley won 1-0, didn't they, with Alex Acorfi scoring a pen. But I can just see this being really close. Averley won their last two, Malden won their last three. But I think if you look, Malden's away record is unbelievable, isn't it? I think they haven't lost a game away.
Yeah. No, right, yeah.
So,
1-8,
it's really close. Both of them form guides really good. I think Malden's second, aren't they? And Averley's fifth. So I can see this being. I've got this down as a draw. Is it a draw going to be good enough? How close it is? Well, they're both 11 points clear and 14 points clear of the teams below in the playoffs. So I think they'll both take a draw. Averley would want to win because obviously, they would drop down to third. But, I think Bowers would be quite looking over their shoulder at this result.
Do you think Bowers and Rob would want to draw?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they would, mate. They've got a game in hand over. I think they just wouldn't want Malden winning. So it'll obviously take Malden 3 points behind them, even though they have got a game in. They've got the same games.
Yeah.
That's if obviously Bowers win tomorrow, which they mostly should do.
They've got Whittam, haven't they, tomorrow? So that'll be that game will definitely be on.
Yeah.
Chris, do you see Averley or Malden pulling off a victory, or do you see a draw as well?
I can't see Malden scoring if David Hughes is behind the posts. It's between the posts. I mean, he's a sensational keeper. He went from Harlow to Averley. I haven't checked to see if he's playing. I would assume he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
If that's the case, then if Malden, if there's going to be a result one way or the other, I'd have to go Averley. Yeah. If it was a draw, it'd be a goalless draw. Usually won't let one in. Yeah,
Malden also, obviously, they lost that Michael Brothers. I don't know if you spoke about this last week, Dave, but Liam Hope coming in gives them a little bit of experience as well, obviously, at Averley. And I think his goal record against Averley is really good. So it'd be interesting. I know Averley have, I think Tony Martin's gone to Great Wakering, hasn't he? And you've brought in, is it Amir again? So I can see there's not going to be much in this.
Well, I'll start you off then. I'm going to go 2-1 Malden.
Go on, Chris.
1-0 Averley.
And I'm going because Malden's away record, and obviously Averley's home record was only lost once. I'm going 1-1.
So you've got points. He's got your points on the ball one way or another because everybody's gone completely different. So going to the ground that everybody wants to visit, Tilbury versus Canby Island.
Dave, that's postponed, mate. Sorry, Tilbury, but I'll be shocked with the weather over there. But yeah, no, this ain't going to be a bad game. 7th versus 9th. Was it a point between them?
Yeah.
Canberley have obviously lost their last 2 games, didn't they? And surprisingly lost 3-2 in the week, didn't they? To Great Wakering.
Oh, and just news. I just remembered that as well. Yeah, of course. David Hughes got sent off. So, of course, David Hughes is suspended
Oh,
for the next
okay.
games. So, that will make a difference.
Then, David.
I think he got sent off last Saturday, Dave.
Yeah. So, I mean, literally, I mean, if you want to change your mind on that one, Chris, you can by all means. But, yeah, it's just
must be something about goalkeepers, because Lamar got sent off again, didn't he? Must be connection with Avely. But like I said, yeah, great Wakerin beat Canvey in the week with mile player Mark Gabell scoring. The Tilbury won last three, and obviously they had a defeat, didn't they, to Soham a few weeks ago. So both of them, you know, can have funny results on their day. You know, I think both the form guides are very, very sort of similar. I think, what was it, 8 points and 10 points at the last 6 games. So again, I think this is going to be close.
And it's amazing with Canvey, isn't it? With Canvey, one of those teams we expect to be up there in the playoffs and really pushing even for the title. And the last few weeks they've had a bit of a mare, haven't they?
They have, but then they picked up a couple of great results. I think when we spoke on a Monday, Dave, a few times, we said they underachieved, and all of a sudden they went and got some great results, picked themselves up. Look, they're 8 points off the playoffs. So that's nearly sort of gone, you could say, with the games they've played. But you know, they have got a good side. If you look on paper, they've got some great players.
Yeah.
When they played in October, both teams drew 1-1. But if you look on paper as well, Tilbury's got a very good side. Maybe they've underachieved a little bit as well.
It's going to be a tight game, though, do you think? I mean, Tilbury have got some good players in there now, haven't they? I mean, quite a few of them from, you know, the Basel and Mark's got them playing really well as well, and they're not necessarily the side you want to come up with, especially down at Tilbury.
I think the pitch will suit Tilbury a little bit more than Canvey. I've got it very close. But yeah, this is, you know, it's normally a bit of a hot-headed game, these as well, if I remember.
Yeah. So what do we think, Chris? What score are we going to go for on this one?
I'm going for goals because of the weather. I think there's always a risk of a goalkeeping error or a bad back pass. I'm going to go 2-2.
Desmond.
Going for a Desmond, yeah.
I've gone 2-1 Tilbury, mate.
2-1 to Tilbury. And I've gone 1-1 in that game. So moving on then into your league, Keith. Whitstable Town versus Hastings. And Hastings really, is, you know, with the Cray Wanderers situation, it's almost Hastings giving the gap to Cray Wanderers. I know Cray have been winning as well, but they seem losing games that you're not expecting to lose.
Yeah, listen, our league's quite tight, Dave. You know, I'm just going through this. Hastings, you know, were beating Horsham 1-0 on Tuesday night a minute ago, and Horsham equalised. They've got a lot of firepower, and at home are very, very good. Whitstable is difficult. You know, our game was called off there last Saturday, so it'd be interesting. They're a big, strong, physical side. They were winning 1-0 Tuesday till the last minute as well against Sevenoaks. But I just think with Hastings' pace, they might get a result here if the pitch stands up and they'll be able to pass and it's quite slick. And down at Whitstable, the pitch is quite wide as well, and I think that might suit Hastings. They both during the week, Hastings beat them 3-1 back in November, and I think the same will happen. But as you said, you know, they are sitting second. They've dropped down to third. Ashford took over them in the week. And I think that'll be 1 and 2 this year at the moment. They've got a lot. The thing that Hastings, I wouldn't say struggle with, but you could, and we spoke about it with Hartford, is the amount of players they go through, Dave, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They've not had a settled side for a while. If you look at their bench, they've got some great players on the bench. How they've kept them, only Chris will know. But they have got, you know, on their day, they're a very, very good side.
But am I right in saying that's the second time the original game for you has been called off down at Whitstable this year?
Well, we had a cup game called off down there as well. No, that was Sittingbourne, but yeah, it was called off. It's done again in March. But listen, last week's weather, we was one of the only ones off. But you know, and it was for waterlogged. It wasn't for snow. They didn't have any snow. Yeah. So if they've had the rain that they've had here, we've had here tonight, then you know that could be doubtful. But I'm sure they'll try and get it on because Hastings will want the game. They won't want to slip further behind. But for Whitstable, it's quite a big game now. You know, they've dropped down to 15th, and you know, they can get big results. But They need to start picking up a few now because Faversham are starting to win a few. Sittingbourne have changed their manager and players. Owen Bay, well, you never know what's going on with them. They're either getting thumped or beaten. Now, they beat Hastings 2 weeks ago. So, you know, it'd be interesting.
I've heard it said, James Sykes said Tilbury pitch very good. Gilbert Sykes ex Canby, they can't wait. Somebody else has said they reckon it's going to be Malden will win the game quite easily by 3 goals to 1. So, it'll be interesting when it comes to that. And of course, we've just been joined as well by ex-Hertford Town manager Gavin Kelsey as well. So good evening to you as well, Gavin. But it's going to be tough. I mean, Hastings, though, as you said, like, you know, they've been losing games. As I just said, really, you look at some of the games they're playing against, you expect them to win, and they've been losing weirdly, haven't they, to them? And that's what's really increased the gap there for Craig. Yeah,
they have. Well, I'm saying they've been drawing some as well, Dave. But listen, their away record is that they've won 4 away out of 10, but Whitstable have only won 3 at home. So that's maybe where at home Hastings are very good. They've only drawn 1 and lost 1. So going away is obviously where they struggle a little bit, which is good because we've got them coming up as well. But I can't see them slipping up here. I really can't.
Yeah. Chris,
I'm going to go for Whitstable 2-1 on that. I think Hastings away record. I mean, it's 4 wins out of 12 away games suggests to me that they're not very good travelling. Whitstable are definitely needing the points because of the situation where they are. And Faversham and Sittingbourne are coming strong. Owen Bay have always been a crazy club, haven't they? I remember when they were the Pride of Kent many, many years ago, but what's happening down there has always been a mystery. I'm definitely going to stick with it. Whitstable will win 2-1.
Well, I've just had, before we go to Keith's prediction, I mean, literally, I've just had it coming in. Michael Whaling from Hertford Town just said, just been told the Hertford pitch is in good nick. James Sykes has said, can't believe Hertford game can be on. Terrible pitch, bad drainage.
I remember when the old Hertford lads were with us day on the Monday, and they said that the pitch wasn't great over there, but listen, they might have spent some money. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do we think of the Whitstable game, Keith?
Well, I'm going the same result as it was back at Hastings. I'm going 3-1 Hastings.
3-1. I think I'm just going to go for a high scoring draw. Let's go for 2-2. But Michael just put in, they've done the drains. I've just lost it here. They've done the drains in the sun. Dean Sawyer said Hastings play good football. Whitstable play awful long ball. Hastings win easily.
Well, Dean's slightly right. Whitstable are a little bit more direct. That could suit them with the pitch. The one thing that Hastings do is concede from aerial, and with Whitstable having Steve Smith and that up front, and obviously now Miles Cornwall, he's an handful in the air. So it'd be interesting. They get it on the floor, Hastings will win.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that me and Keith just breaking into it before we go into the last 3 games and other bits. So, due to all the name changing and all the rest of it during the week, what we're going to be doing is we're requesting from you guys, if you've got your goals and you want me and Keith to look at them and we put together something around your goals, and please, this weekend, send your goals in to us. If you send them by WeTransfer, so if you look up on Google WeTransfer, that will transfer the files to me, a bigger file, and that will come through to me. The email address to send it to is dsquare@sky.com. That's dsquare@sky.com. I'll put that in the comments later as well, and we'll email that out as well and text it out, etc., etc. But if you do that, it'd be great to have you send your goals into us that me and Keith can have a look at, and we can go over some of the footage as well on the Monday show in the coming weeks as well. So if you all Bostic teams, there's 82 of you. Why not send in some of your goals into us? You may send them into other streams as well. Send them into us. Get our views on it as well. It'll be fantastic to actually hear from you and see your games and the goals from the weekend.
Alternative, Dave, some referee decisions if you video them.
Yeah,
go through them.
Yeah. Why not? Bring it on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can help you with that.
And of course, it doesn't have to be just teams from the what used to be Ryman League. If you're watching us and you're from the Southern League, the Northern League, the Olympian League, the Essex League, you send them in to us. Me and Keith will go through them, and we'll go through and have a look at them and we'll discuss some of the refereeing decisions, maybe some of the goals, etc., on the show on a Monday evening. But back to these games then. So someone's already said if this one ends up with a fight, they're going for Faversham. Faversham,
I wouldn't be so sure on that.
Faversham versus Greenwich Borough. And of course, Greenwich Borough have got a new management team just gone in there just recently as well. You know, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? And this is the reason why I put this one in, because normally when people are picking games, it always seems to be some at the top. But this one to me seems to be a game that could be a real humdinger.
Go on, Chris, you can have a go at this one first.
Well, my granddad used to play for Faversham Town, Granddad Chris. My dad was born in Faversham. Salters Lane, it's Salters Lane, isn't it, where they play? Yeah. That's a while ago now. Quite fond memories of Faversham Football Club. So I'm gonna let emotions take over here. They're looking good. There's been a few changes there as well. Cool. I mean, they used to have a lot of Ashford Town cast-offs in the old days, you know, back in the 70s and 80s, and they weren't a bad outfit then. So I'm going to stick with my heart and go with a Faversham home win. 3-1-2. I think they're going to put a few away.
But listen, they're on a great run. There's 6 points between them, and like you said, two of my mates have just took over at Greenwich Borough with Steve O'Boyle and obviously Steve Salis, and they've been in for 2 games now. They drew 0-0 last Saturday, and they were so unlucky. Last minute free kick away at home to Phoenix in the week. But they do need to start picking some points up, and he has signed quite a few players with some more coming in. It's quite a big six point of this. If they win, they just claw the gap to 3 points, and maybe Bay and Sitting Bull now on the same points because 2 go down. Faversham, like you said, Chris, they have picked up a few points. They had a great result beating Hive on Saturday. So I think they're unbeaten in their last 3. So I can see this being really close. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I do. I don't think, I think Borough will get stronger. Greenwich beat them 4-1 at the beginning of the season, but with a completely different side. But I'm expecting maybe Greenwich to go and have a little go there.
Well, James Sykes has just come in again. He said he's going for Faversham in for a third round stoppage. Is there that type of history between the two clubs? No,
not now. There's different. Obviously, the clubs have changed. New management over at Faversham with Phil Miles. I know the secretary Wendy and obviously Clive Walker over there, and the committee at Faversham are really good, Dave. They're lovely people. Greenwich Borough, obviously, they're struggling with help and things like that at the moment. But no, there's not been nothing. When I watched their Kent Senior game this year, there was nothing there. So no, I don't think there'll be any problems. Steve's very passionate on the line. Obviously, Steve O'Boyle, the old Phoenix manager, but he's no, I think they'll be okay.
Well, someone's just come on with a question. Is there a reason why you're not saying 2 certain words? Yes, there is.
We're not allowed.
We're not allowed, yeah, so we're not going to be saying the 2 names that you put on there, Jerry. So it is the former Ryman League that we'll be using for the very, very near future at least anyway. I suppose it's one of those things. I mean, Chris Smith's just come in from Abley. You've just missed your game, Chris, but just let James know I'm still waiting for his phone call. Half an hour seems a long time. But in all fairness, I mean, these games, Faversham and Faversham and Greenwich, it's 2 sides that you would expect to have been fighting maybe a 6-pointer at the other end of the table, maybe at the beginning of the season.
A lot of people said that about Greenwich, Dave, but obviously didn't know what was going on there. When Huss took temporary charge, he brought some good players down, and obviously, unfortunately for Greenwich, he got the full-time job over at Dover with Andy Essenthal. So, they lost a few players, but it'll take Boyley and Steve Salis a little while to get them settled. But I think they pull out, and Bay, I think they're the ones that are going to struggle, Dave, if they don't do something soon. And on paper, they've got a really good side, so something severely wrong's going down now.
Well, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Faversham win for me in that game at the weekend. 2 sides that are flying at the minute. I've just got, one's gone back flying in the way of form. one I'm flying with because they've got a sort of a, should we say, a superstar manager come in, I suppose, in one way for in non-league terms anyway. Tonbridge against Margate, of course, Jay Saunders coming in at Margate in the week.
Yeah, Jay's a good mate of mine, to be honest, and it was awful what happened to him at Maidstone. The only thing I say, Dave, and this is no disrespect to Margate, I'm a little bit surprised he's gone there. Mm-hmm. You know, he's took Maidstone all the way up into the National League, done well, and I'm surprised. So I know he's an ex-player, and we'll have to wait and see, but it'll take a little while for him to get him going. I can see why he's got a few ex-players there with Franny Collin, etc. But you know, I think this is going to be a good game. This.
Mm-hmm. So I was leaning over because I had to plug the computer. I just realised I hadn't got it plugged in, and I just see how much we've got left on a percentage. We've got to run out. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. I mean, the likes of Reedy and Tonbridge, all of a sudden they went through that sticky patch. You know, when we spoke to Steve on the Monday show, and they at that stage were going through a real sort of tough patch. They seem to have started to pull it back round together again now and moving up in the right direction. So probably going to be a tough first game for Jay.
Yeah, it is. They're third in the form guide. They've done well, and Margate are 20th. And they're only 2 points above the relegation, which is, for a club of that, is difficult. Sunbridge coming off the back of a great win as well, beating Bognor at Bognor 3-2. So it's going to be tough for him. But you know what they say: a new manager coming in could lift the players. He has got some good players there. I've gone for a draw here because of that reason.
New manager syndrome. Then do you think that will happen, Chris?
I think so. I definitely think so. 350 appearances for the Gate when he played. I understand the existing manager he's not coming in to manage until a week's time, but he's on the bench tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's going to have a massive effect. Especially, it's going to lift everyone. I think. You talk about Tunbridge Angels having a sticky patch. They had a sticky patch Tuesday night at Lewis, didn't they? Did you see the pitch?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'll tell you what.
How the ref wanted to start that, I don't know.
It was like the song, wasn't it? Another interesting observation about Tunbridge is the fact they've gone second in the respect table, the Bostik League respect table. Would you believe, gentlemen, on 24 games played, they've not had one yellow or red card yet? Now, my boys have trouble going 24 minutes without a yellow card. So I think absolutely incredible that they're... And Margate, struggling as they are, I mean, I don't like to see a club like Margate at that end of the league. They're 15th, and they've only had 2 yellow cards in 23 matches. That's pretty impressive, I think, for a club that's struggling. They're obviously not kicking their way up.
Well, it's a Kent derby tomorrow, so yeah. There might be 1 or 2 there, and could be the reason why they're struggling, because obviously, they need to fight a little bit. But, it'll...
8 red cards.
What's that, Dave? 8
red cards and 6 yellows tomorrow, then.
Yeah.
Stopped in the 70th minute.
James Sykes has just come in and said Keith's going to get splinters sitting on the fence.
I've only done a couple of draws, James. And if he knows me that well, he should know I'll never sit on a fence. I'll kick it open.
And then he's also put can't say, and then there's that 6 little word again, start with B. Yep, you're dead.
Say what you want, you just don't want to get stuck on it.
You're dead right, yeah. But Tuppy then, I mean, do you see Alex Reid scoring tomorrow, Chindy McKenzie? I mean, it's a great front line. I mean, we were talking probably a couple of seasons ago on the show, and we were saying, can Alex do it in a higher division? Is that why teams haven't come in for him, etc., etc.? But he's still banging the goals in at the at the level above, and no disrespect to Chindu, from where he was when I was at Harlow to where he's been and where he is now has improved no end.
So Dave, the move from Alex going to Tunbridge was perfect for him, because the supporters at Tunbridge are very similar to Harlow, maybe a bit more educated. So that's all right. That'll be on Monday. How about that there, but they really get behind their team, and when they're doing well, and I think they'll do that tomorrow, and they take people like Alex, like Harlow did, to their hearts, and they've always liked a goal scorer, and that's why he settled in really well there. Very similar the way the clubs are, good fan base, and and good manager. You know, Steve's a very good manager, and I think he's got the best out of him.
Jake said, "Wow, thanks, Keith." Smiling face.
Did I sit on the fence there?
This is Jake from Harlow. Jake.
I know it is. Well, I only said it because of Stumpsy.
Because yeah, oh dear. But yeah, Buddha's plan. I'm watching. I'm surprised he didn't comment either on that one. But
yeah, I know.
But where do you see this one going in? Do you see? You said draw. I mean, do you see? I just got a sneaky suspicion that maybe it might be a bit too soon for Jay and see.
Possibly, mate. But like I said, if you look at the Margate squad, they've been underperforming and they're decent. So Jay coming in will get them organised. I know Chris said, you know, Jay won't just sit on the bench and let Mark get on with it. He will come straight in there with his team and he'll get them organised. And you know, but if you look at last week with Tunbridge, they went to the end, and I said to your mile player, Adem scoring, and they're gonna, you know, they're in a great position now. They put themselves only a point outside the playoffs. They've always had a good home record, but if you look, you know, they've won 6, lost 6, so that could tell you, you know. Oh, James is sitting on the fence as well.
Yeah, he's gone 1-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, I just think Kent Derby, Margate, I think will turn up tomorrow.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think, mate? What are we going for, Chris?
Well, bearing in mind, Margate only narrowly lost against Dorking 1-0. I'm going to go for an Alex Reid goal to keep all my chums at Harlow happy, and the great memory that we all have of him down there. He was a great player at Harlow, and I'm sure he's banging them in for fun at Tunbridge. I'm going to go for 2-1 Margate win. I think Margate are far too good to be where they are, and I think that it's time that their luck turns. So I'm going to go 2-1 Margate.
Okay, and you yourself?
I said 1-1, mate.
1-1, yeah. So then, the star game of the week, and you know, you wouldn't have been saying this sort of some time ago, and what a difference all of a sudden they've had. And of course, it's Harlow against Folkestone. It's going to be, you know, I suppose people would look at it and go, well, this is going to be an easy win for Folkestone because of where they are compared to, you know, to Harlow. But Harlow in some good form lately, and you know, especially at home, turning over some of the big boys. I mean, it just shows you what a difference a few weeks can make, because, you know, a few weeks ago we were looking at it and thinking, well, they'll be in the what used to be Ryman North next year, and now all of a sudden it's looking at they could well be safe in what used to be the Ryman Prem.
Well, they're still not out of trouble, Dave. They're only like 4 points clear, and Wingate have got two games in hand. So them results have been big, but this, you know, is they need to start getting results against teams around them. And to be fair, I know they beat Burgess Hill last week 3-1, which was brilliant. They needed that. And that did obviously, you know, make a bigger gap there. Playing at home, they've got, you know, they've moved themselves up 8th in the form table. They've got exactly the same points in the last 6 games as Folkestone as well. But Folkestone are only a point outside the playoffs, Dave, even though Lewis have got a game in hand. They beat Corinthian in the week as well, but the week before that they got an absolute smashing, didn't they, to Dorking? So this could be interesting. I'm not sitting on the fence though on this one.
Well, Jake's come in and said 3-1 to Harlow, joint 5th in the form table. Harlow at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, joint 5th. Yeah, well, we can all do all joint 5th. Yeah, like I said, you know, it could be interesting tomorrow. It's what we just said. Margate lose, Harlow win, you know, and they could, and with Ormchurch, as we said, they could find themselves up into 17th.
Yeah.
Or they could find themselves a point above the playoffs, and above the relegation, and in trouble again. Would you think they'd take a draw, Dave, against Folkestone, seeing where Folkestone are in the league?
Probably. I think knowing the Harlow fans, knowing Tommy Cunningham and all the rest of them there, I think that they would be looking at it and saying to themselves, well, look, you know, the form that we're in, there's no reason why we shouldn't be going out and beating them. And, you know, if they turned them over by 3, 1 or 3-2, it wouldn't surprise me a single bit. I think at the minute they seem to have got that, you know, from some of the videos you've seen posted that Hussein has posted on his thing and as well. you see, yeah, terrible dancing. But anyway, but you see some of the how together they are again in that dressing room. It looks as if they literally are all together, and it's they've got that.
Yeah,
That old spirit.
It's a big thing, Dave. The team spirit. I'm just sitting there thinking it depends for me what Folkestone team turn up. They've got a great strike force. They're solid. Cugs always gets them organised, especially away from home, and they're normally fairly solid at the back. So, can Harlow go back-to-back wins after the midweek game? I'm not too sure myself. Folkestone beat them at home 3-2, so I know it's first game of the season it might have been, or first couple of games of the season, but I'm going for a Folkestone win here.
Chris?
Well, I mean, on paper, you'd probably say that, but we don't play on paper, of course. I mean, Harlow's fortunes changed when they signed Harry Watkins from Epic Towel. I thought I'd get that one in. Good luck to the boy. I'm hoping he's going to do him proud. Player of the year next season for him, I think. Little bit of change at the top as well, with Tim Sewell taken in as Chief Executive Officer. Top bloke he is, and I think he's going to do well for the club. And I think it creates a feel-good factor through the club when there's a few changes like that. The Dancing Turk's entertaining if they win, so I hope they win for that, because I always like watching him on YouTube. Apparently he's a Tottenham fan, so I didn't know that. I'm going to go for a Harlow victory. Although I would say it should be a great atmosphere, because I looked on the website at Folkestone and the Sheraton away coach is sold out.
Wow!
So they're going to bring it in with them, which is good.
Always bring a lot. We've got a big.
Yeah, it should be a good. And I can guarantee it now that if it's cancelled, me and Lou will be there cheering on the Hawks. So as much as I love Neil Cudley, I think he's God in non-league football. I've said that many a time. I mean, 1,300 games in charge of Folkestone, a legend, absolute legend. I'm going to go with a Harlow victory, and I think it's going to be quite a convincing one tomorrow. I'm expecting goals. Let's go 4-0. Let's really push it out.
Wow.
They're on a roll. 10 points this year, and they're starting to turn the corner.
Keith?
Yeah, thought of that. I'm going for a Folkestone win. I just think Cugs will get them organised. I hope for Danny that they can get their feet back on the floor, and after in the week beating Burgess Hill, which was a massive result. But I think Folkestone need this massively, and I can see them winning 2-0.
I'm going to go 3-1 to Harlow. I too think that.
The other interesting game, I don't know if you were going to cover it, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but there's a very tasty game going on as well. Wingate against Whitehall tomorrow, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, that could have significance in there could be a big gap tomorrow. I mean, hopefully Harlow will get to 32 points. Margate will get to 33. It could be 5 points between Allchurch and Wingate if Whitehall turn them over. So it's an exciting Saturday, isn't it? Without a doubt.
Well, Whitehall's had a little bit of a change round in form as well recently. So and Wingate have struggled since they've had a change of manager. I know we're not talking about the game, but that's why I think Harlow, if they can get a win or a result, will pick that up. But I'm going with Jake. I think Whitehall could get a result there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I'd say, I think from looking at the team spirit down at Harlow, and also considering that early in the season it didn't look too clever for them, I think if the team spirit gets them out of trouble this year and pushes them up late in the season, I think with a couple of players, they keep the team they've got, add a couple to it, I think we could be seeing them right up the other end of the table next year. I think we could see them in that sort of team spirit, and that's a couple maybe put in there. They could be pushing up towards those playoff places next year.
I think Danny would just be more concerned about this year. If I'm honest with you, Dave, I don't even think he'll think about next year. They've done well because we spoke over the last months that we thought they would really struggle, and I kept saying they need their supporters to come out and help them out, and they need that tomorrow. They will definitely need that tomorrow.
Well, as Chris was saying there about Tim taking over CEO, at least that's my claim to fame. I was the man that brought him into Harlow, so that was happy days too. Well, I mean, I suppose looking at some of the other games then that are going to be happening over the weekend. We'll just have a quick look at them. We'll go into the Premier Division to start with. I'll just have a quick flick through down some of them. So tough one for AFC Hornchurch. They go to Bognor Regis. That's a bit of a journey for them as well. With a tough old game to go up and play up at Bognor. Mersham, not great in the last couple of games, but they go to Brighton. Have been playing some great football. Carshalton against Haringey Borough. That could be a humdinger.
Could be. Will Carshalton be looking at the trophy, Dave, on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Replay. Haringey obviously have had a couple of big draws. Be a good game, that. Two very attacking sides.
Would you be though? I mean, if you was a Carshalton manager, I think if I was a Carshalton manager, I'd be looking. If I was Peter, I think I'd be looking at the Barnet game, especially as Barnet got knocked out of the FA Cup as well. I think they'll be more focused on that game now as well. And I think surely he's got to be looking at that game rather than the Haringey game.
Yeah, he will do. Definitely.
Crimford Casuals versus Lewis. Dorking Wanderers against Kingstone. And Enfield Town could do their neighbours Harlow a favour by playing Burgess Hill. Leatherhead versus Bishop Stortford. The one we were just talking about, Wingate and Finchley versus Whitehawk, and Worthing against Potter's Bar. Any of those ones other than the Wingate one? Any of those sort of come out and grab you?
Well, go on.
I think the Bognor game would be good.
The which one, sorry?
I think the Bognor Regis match will be a good one.
Yeah. Should be
quite a good thing.
Yeah, I'm going with you with the Brighton you see Mersham, Dave. I think that could be a good game. Worthing need to pick up.
Yeah,
they've had a wobble, haven't they?
They've had a Tomby.
They've had a good wobble.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to answer James Sykes before he goes. He's asked me, Dave, do I dislike Essex? Well, I wouldn't live there, but no.
Going to what used to be the Ryman North then. AFC Sudbury against Felixstowe Walton. Bowers and Pitsea against Whittam. That could be a little bit of a banana skin. I mean, Whittam just not in the form that they were, but I saw James was panicking that the game might be called off. Well, I'd hope not for rain. So down at Bowers, otherwise there's something seriously wrong with the pitch if there is.
Yeah.
Bury Town versus Basildon United.
That could be interesting, Dave. Basildon have picked up slightly.
Yeah.
And Bury.
Coggeshall Town against Romford. Romford, I mean, that's a fall from grace, isn't it? I mean, it's a massive fall. We've gone from being up there right at the very top and then dropped like a stone and now can't go any further at the minute.
No, and I don't hold out for them tomorrow either.
No. Dereham Town versus Barking. Dereham all of a sudden going the other way. I mean, they're coming to some great form with the new manager coming in.
Yeah, no, they have. Difficult trip for Barking. They've had a couple of good results themselves, Dave.
Yep.
And they're top of the respect table. I said Tunbridge Angels were second in the respect league. Dereham Town at top. So credit to the team there. I mean, they're obviously playing good football. They're obviously a very happy crowd of players. They're not getting angry or losing their temper. So yeah, they're top of the respect table with minus 16.
So are we, Chris, aren't we?
VCD. Now let's have a VCD of 33rd. Still a good place to be. Of course, you've done very well.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to go to Three Bridges. You'd probably have a hearse waiting for you outside.
Tell you what, Chris, we played Three Bridges the other week, and they had another lad or whatever sent off on Tuesday night. And I don't know if you see it, Dave. Do you see the goals?
I haven't. No.
Oh, I was at the game and I was watching the results, and obviously Hayward Heath they just went above us. We've got a game in hand or so, and Three Bridges is a difficult place to go. They're very physical, but they keep getting players sent off. And they were 2-0 up, 2-1, 2, and then they were 3-2 up. Player got sent off, 3-3. It's the 94th minute, and they get a free kick on the halfway line. Go and watch where the goalkeeper stands for Three Bridges. He comes nearly to the penalty spot to the right, and the geezer just smashes it into the bottom corner from the halfway line. And they lost 4-3. Discipline.
Great Wakering, they take on Grays Athletic. Haybridge Swifts, they got Milton Hall Town. Suntown Rangers against Brentwood Town. And as we said, the one we covered earlier on, Tilbury against Canby Island. In the Jigsaw League tomorrow, We've got Chipstead versus Chalfont and Pia. FC Romeo after their great win against Cheshire against Bedford Sports. Hanwell Town against Egham Town. That game should be on, shouldn't it, down at Hanwell?
Hanwell's pitch is beautiful. Yeah, it should be.
Molesley versus Marlow, so a tough one for Molesley.
I can't see that being on, Dave. That pitch, if you spat on it, could get called off, unfortunately.
South Park versus Ware. Tooting and Mitcham versus Northwood. Waltham Abbey got Bracknell. That could be a good game tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it could be very good. Good luck, Michael Spence.
And Westfield versus Uxbridge. And then, of course, into your league, Keith, tomorrow. We've got Cray Wanderers take on Guernsey. And Guernsey had a couple of good away results lately, didn't they?
They have it. They lost in the week, didn't they, to East Grinstead at home. But yeah, on their day, they were a very good side.
East Grinstead against Ramsgate. Haywards Heath versus Herne Bay. Hyde Town versus Phoenix Sports. Sevenoaks versus Whiteleaf. Three Bridges versus Sittingbourne. VCD versus Horsham. So what about your game then? I mean,
it's a big game, Dave. I went and looked at the pitch this afternoon. Before we had a massive downpour. Hopefully we'll be all right. I'll go in the morning. But for the first time before Christmas, we got a full squad. Everybody's back. I told you, Charlie McDonald, all my front three. We've added a couple as well, goalkeeper, and Ali Fassini's back as well. He hasn't played for us since Christmas. He's been away, so we're going. We'll be strong, so we'll be doing everything to get the game on. But they were a good side. That's the only team we didn't perform against when we went down there. They're strong, big, so but it's a massive game for us. If we get 3 points, it puts us in a really good position.
So where's the new goalkeeper come from?
It's Jordan Beanie. He was at Herne Bay for a bit, but obviously he's played for Charlton under 23s. He's been about. I just need to have a look a little bit, if I'm honest with you, in that department. So we brought him in. We bought Ustrin from Ashford, centre forward as well, just to give us a little bit more strength. But we all trained last night, and it was great to see our injury, especially Charlie, back in full flow, and Malachi Hudson and Courtney Barrington as well. So yeah, we go into tomorrow very strong.
Chris, I mean, your game tomorrow as well. I know what Stonard Hill's like. I used to rep over there all the time. So I've just looked out the window and seen what it looks like out here. I think you might be going to Barlow tomorrow.
Yeah, I might be over there tomorrow. It depends what happens in the night, Dave. If the weather turns, we get a bit of wind. It's a bit of a wind tunnel over there as well. My good lady assures me that if it stops raining for about 4 in the morning, we can get a bit of wind. We should have a chance. But fingers crossed. We need to get 3 points tomorrow. We're chasing the pack. We've got lots of games on second place. 5 games, in fact, only about 6 points behind them. So we need to get 3 points in the bag. I don't really want to have too many games up my sleeve in hand, because it doesn't always mean you're going to win them. And also it depends who you're playing. If their first team aren't playing, they might sort of bolster up with a load of players. So I definitely want to win tomorrow and get 3 points tomorrow night. I want to be sitting here with 3 points in your pocket. So fingers crossed.
So it's going to be, and I said, it's a great game to be there. I'll be able to myself your BTD. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Some big games that are there. Quite an interesting one to sit and watch the weekend and the results if the games go ahead and see how they pan out.
Yeah, it's going to make a lot of difference, Dave, when we talk Monday night about where people are in the league now, because we're starting getting into that situation now where it's. You're coming into the time of the season where everybody's got everything to play for, because you're either going to get you're going to be dragged into a relegation, or this is the final time to try and get yourself in the playoffs or winning the league. So no one's got nothing to play for at the moment.
Yeah. Well, so on Monday night, of course, me and Keith will be back at Abley, and of course we're looking at we've got Adam Fisher, the manager of Hertford Town, with us. We're hoping to get some kind of a contact with us, and hopefully Mike trying to get them on with as well. But it's going to be an interesting weekend. Of course, any questions you've got for us, if you want us to answer, if you've got any of your footage as well, of course, don't forget to send that in as well. If you've got any questions on anything at all, I mean, on games at the weekend, refereeing, anything that we may have said or Keith may have said, or anything for Adam, or even name changes, maybe name changes. If you've got any, anything you want to ask us for the weekend, don't forget to give us an email. But
don't forget, Dave, we're honest and we say how it is. So if anyone's got anything they definitely want to ask us about that, we will tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we decided to call it the Straight Talking Reposs non-league shows, because that we're doing. And I do apologize. Someone must have their volume up on their iPad because I can hear me. But yeah, it literally is, a case of, straight talking. We will, as we what we feel that the show and the Monday show does as well as it does, because we tell you exactly what you want to hear. We don't hope anything, and we'll tell you exactly what it is. Hopefully you'll carry on enjoying the shows throughout the rest of this season and, of course, into the coming season. But as I said, hopefully you'll get the result you want at the weekend. But until then, good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Yep.